numbers for
Between
some
Trump
key
and Sleepy
electoral
Joe and
states.
anybody beats Sleepy Joe.
CNN's new poll shows
He lied to the American people. He is unfit for this job.
Joe Biden.
No matter who wins, there were a handful of key moments that shaped the 2020 elections.
This American carnage
could not remain silent after Charlottesville. Battle for America's soul.
One of the most defining moments of 2020 happened nearly 4 years ago, the inauguration of President Donald J. Trump.
the office of President of the United States.
In 2016, many Democrats took the race for granted and assumed there was no way Trump would ever get elected President of the United States. But the day after he set foot in the Oval Office, the National Mall was the scene of the massive Women's March, and Democratic voters and donors began an urgent and sustained push to make sure he didn't get a second term.
Former Vice President Joe Biden appears to be one step closer to clinching the Democratic nomination.
Joe Biden wins the Democratic nomination for president. If Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders had been the Democratic nominee, Trump and the Republicans would have more easily framed the election as a choice between socialism and capitalism. Biden's nomination severely blunted that argument, since people had lived through 8 years of him being a heartbeat away from the top job. Democratic Rep. Jim Clyburn's endorsement and role in helping Biden win the South Carolina primary is a related pivotal moment, along with Sanders' early exit and the quick consolidation around the former vice president.
75,000 people into the public health labs now?
Anybody that wants a test can get a test.
Anybody that wants a test can get a test came to symbolize his overall approach to the coronavirus. For months, Trump has demonstrated either a lack of understanding of the scope of the pandemic or an unwillingness to address COVID-19 in a serious and consistent way. That mentality had dramatic ramifications for the economy and thus the president's re-election chances. Without a strong economy, voters were left to judge Trump on other issues less favorable to the president. If the president had simply ramped up testing and encouraged everyone to wear a mask, there's a good chance the economy, the country, and Trump's re-election chances would all be in a healthier position.
I'm Steve Bullock, and I approve this message.
Steve Bullock runs for the Senate. The Democratic governor's decision to challenge GOP Senator Steve Daines expanded the Senate battlefield by turning a seat that was considered solidly in the Republican column into a competitive race that would require money and attention. With Montana in play, Democrats had more than one path to control the Senate. Now with Trump struggling to match his 2016 performances in states around the country, Democrats have even more options. But Bullock's entry was a legitimate game changer.
Protests that you saw breaking out here in front of the White House. That is what sources are saying, Anderson, that was what part of the decision.
We are in trouble.
A walk in the park. In an otherwise stable race, the president lost some ground after his decision to forcibly remove protesters from Lafayette Park to pave the way for a photo opportunity in front of St. John's Church. Maybe more importantly, the moment was evidence that Trump's emphasis on law and order wasn't a clear-cut winning issue for the president, even though it would be a constant part of his repertoire for the duration of the race. The president's unwillingness to acknowledge the generational struggles of the black community limited his ability to attract a larger share of voters of color, and his tactics looked tone-deaf to moderate voters.
This is a Fox News alert. President Trump just tweeted moments ago that he and the First Lady have tested positive for the coronavirus.
The president tested positive for COVID-19. While it shouldn't have been a complete surprise, Trump testing positive and being hospitalized for coronavirus was a breathtaking news event. Not only did it overshadow one of his legacy moments, the nomination of Judge Amy Coney Barrett to the Supreme Court, it kept the attention on the coronavirus, an issue that a majority of Americans trust Biden to handle better than the president. And without the second debate, Trump missed a prime-time opportunity to change the trajectory of the race.
You know, I thought to myself, I have to do the right thing. I have to be on the right side of history.
The Washington Post opinion piece by National Security Democrats. In September 2019, 7 freshman Democrats declared what Trump was reported to have said to the president of Ukraine a threat to all we have sworn to protect, and urged their colleagues to start an impeachment inquiry. 4 of the 7 represented districts that Trump carried in 2016, so their declaration showed how much the president's electoral strength had waned and that Democrats were unafraid to oppose him. More than a year later, Trump might not win any of the 7 districts.
Good job.
Some people don't
Well,
do a good
here's
job.
the-
With you,
Go
they
ahead.
say-
You got
Here's the
the wait a
deal.
minute. You get the final word, Mr.
Well, it's hard to get any word in with this clown.
The first presidential debate.
A hot mess inside a dumpster fire, inside a train wreck. That was the worst debate I have ever seen.
Just by staying upright and coherent, Biden cleared a very low bar set by Republicans in the preceding months when they questioned his mental state. Down in the polls, Trump came to the Cleveland stage with the right strategy, trying to hold Biden accountable for the sins of the Obama administration and his son Hunter, but he executed it in the wrong way.
He went from being on offense to just being offensive. He never let the strategy breathe.
With his actions, Trump made himself the focal point, and as long as the election is a referendum on the unpopular and polarizing incumbent, the less likely Trump is to win.